Also coming up, residents of Acropetto in the Volta region appeal to government to fast-track connection of the town to the 5-district water project to end the long-age water crisis in the area.
Medical Superintendent of Fian Regional Hospital, Dr. Joseph Tamil, calls on government to expedite ongoing hospital upgrade.
Much later on the international front, Chinese Premier Kang, on a visit to Indonesia, says China and Indonesia will promote true multilateralism. Thank you for joining us. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We'll be glad to have you like our page and leave a comment so we share with the rest of the world. Let's begin the bulletin from here, shall we?
The Central Business District of Accra was once again choked with trading activities on Saturday, just days after a decongestion exercise carried out by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Joseph Armstrong Goldalawe visited some of the areas affected by the exercise and reports that even the streets and pavement in front of the AMA headquarters have been taken over by traders.
It's been less than 1 week since the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and the Crosby Assembly carried out a decongestion exercise within the Central Business District. Initially, it was regarded that the compliance level was very high. However, less than 3 days after the decongestion exercise, the traders are back on the streets as if nothing happened, preventing the free flow of vehicular movements.
On Tuesday, May 20, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and the Korle-Klottey Municipal Assembly launched a citywide decongestion exercise aimed at restoring order in the capital. A joint task force moved in at dawn to remove unauthorized structures and traders from pavements, footbridges, road shoulders, and other public spaces that obstruct pedestrian and vehicular movement. The operation took place in key commercial areas including Kimbu, Tudu, Makola, Rollins Park, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Kaneshi, and surrounding areas. The exercise was carried out in accordance with the AMA Hawkers Bylaws 2017 and Section 117, Clause 1 of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180. By Thursday and Friday, the city had seen significant transformation, clear walkways, open streets, and improved traffic flow from the AMA head office through Kimbu, Tudu, and Makola. However, our monitoring on Saturday, May 24, told a different story. From the AMA offices to the Ghana School of Law and the Makola Fire Station, traders had returned in full force, occupying pavements and roads. At Rollins Park, drivers struggled to maneuver through congested roads, with traders displaying their goods in the middle of the street.
It was very accessible. You could use 5 minutes to cross over. That's why I thought it would still be the same. That's why I came to pass it. Because I tried passing to do it was worse. So I tried to use this place, and you can see we are stacked. It's like we are back to square one.
So what should be done?
I think they should intensify this cleaning up the roads. They should intensify whatever they've started to do. It shouldn't be a 9-day wonder.
I used it on Wednesday, and it was very free. The flow was very smooth, but it seems the law doesn't work on weekends in Ghana. Yeah, because what I'm seeing today and what I saw on Thursday is totally different.
So you think the AMA should continue with the decongestion exercise? Yeah,
they should. They should. It should extend to Saturdays as well.
The situation was similar at Tudu, Kaneshi, and the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, raising concerns about the sustainability of the exercise.
As the traders are back on the street 3 days after the decongestion exercise, including occupying the frontage of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, we ask, has the fight against the decongestion exercise been defeated? What next for the Assembly? Well, time will tell. Joseph Armstrong, Goldalawe, TV3, Accra.
Well, away from that, the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Pelpo, is taking a swipe at the Member of Parliament for Old Tafo Vincent Akwesifo over his decision to Petitioning the International Labour Organization, speaking to a Labour Affairs correspondent, Daniel Opokin in Accra, the minister said government stands by its decision to terminate the appointments and is prepared to justify the dismissals at the ILO conference next week.
After failing to convince government to reverse its decision on the dismissal of some public sector workers, the Member of Parliament for Otafo, Vincent Ekwasifua, has taken the matter a step further. He has officially petitioned the International Labour Organization, calling on the ILO to intervene and put pressure on the government of Ghana to reinstate the affected workers. In his petition, the MP also urged the ILO to seek answers from the Minister of Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Purple, on the reasons behind the mass dismissals. But Dr. Purple has strongly described the MP's action as unfair and illogical.
Very, very unfair, very, very illogical. In the last, may his soul rest in peace, Atta Mills administration, Atta Mills came and said he was father of all. He did, even including MCEs, DCEs, he didn't dismiss them. He kept them in office for 6 months. He kept everybody in place and said, look, he's a father of all. We should find a way to stop this thing that President Kufuor started by dismissing people. He kept it, and we worked with everybody. When Nanado came into office, everybody, including junior workers, were all dismissed. I don't know why he couldn't see that. Why is he hiding that and just talking about now? He started the trend. They started the trend, and it is working to affect them.
Dr. Purple insists the dismissals were lawful and necessary and says he is ready to defend the government's position at the upcoming ILO conference.
In fact, in the last 4 days, I was in Geneva. It was all about fair recruitment. And if it is proven that the people they say they have sacked were not recruited fairly, there was no competition, how come they were all NPP? How come all the people who have been recruited in the 12,000 people, forcibly and illegally recruited, are all NPP? Were there no other Ghanaians? So if he's talking about why they are dismissed, also ask yourself, why are they all one-party people? Why wouldn't you behave like Professor Mills did? Why didn't they behave like that? And why did they just sack the people they sacked and left precedent for others to follow?
The labor dispute continues to draw attention both locally and internationally, with a final resolution now expected to play out on the global stage.
And now questions are being raised about the conduct of former Attorney General Godfrey Dame in the ambulance case. A citizen's complaint is now demanding action from the General Legal Counsel over alleged ethical breaches following a leaked audio conversation in 2024 between the then Attorney General and the third accused in the case. Could this complaint result in disciplinary action against the former Attorney General? Here's a News Desk report.
A Ghanaian citizen, Daniel Kwame Ofosu-Appiah, has petitioned the General Legal Counsel, accusing former Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Dame, of professional misconduct in connection with the ambulance trial involving Dr. Kasiela Toforson and others. For private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu, the conduct of the former Attorney General in the ambulance purchase trial is a clear display of what he describes as unethical behavior.
As a society, we were very clear at the time that, look, the Attorney General had breached the rules of ethics, all right? And his statements in the tape just sought to destroy the justice system. The fact remains that as citizens, we all heard what Godfrey Dame stated in that tape. And those statements are unethical. What we heard is not anything that should be allowed in a thriving democracy such as ours.
Speaking on the key points, Martin Kpebu explained that regardless of the outcome of investigations, Godfrey Dame has clearly violated the ethical standards of the legal profession.
We must, right, of course, continue to hold him accountable in the court of public opinion whilst we wait for the General Legal Counsel to also conduct its investigations. Because, I mean, this thing had embarrassed us. It had brought the criminal justice system so low that, you have a prosecutor go on record to do such things, and yet the system was unresponsive. They wouldn't take him on. We sat here, made a lot of noise. And then it wasn't that. Look, that kind of conduct from a lot of Supreme Court decisions, it should have even started. We made that point that it was for the trial judge to refer the matter to the General Legal Counsel.
Meanwhile, the Director of Legal Services of the National Democratic Congress, Eduji Tamaklu, offered an explanation as to why he believes it took a year for the former Attorney General to be brought before the General Legal Counsel.
Regardless of him being Attorney General, Godfred from 2021 to 2024 was simply untouchable. The last bar conference, when the bar council met, and the question was whether or not Godfred should go to the bar conference in Kumasi, and whether he can deliver a speech. Yeah. The bar council itself, even at the GBA, were divided. Some bar council members raised it that in view of this, they would not allow him to come and deliver a speech. It was a split where some senior said no, this one, they should, find a way to work it out.
On June 6, 2024, High Court Judge Justice Efiasewa Asariboche, who presided over the ambulance case, in issuing the advice in a ruling in relation to a secret audio recording, advised then Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame to recuse himself from the matter. According to the judge, the advice was aimed at protecting the integrity of the judicial process and restoring public confidence. However, Godfred Yeboah-Dame continued to prosecute the case, arguing that the judge's recommendation was merely advisory and did not constitute an official order.
And now to Ghana's prize cash crop, which is under serious threat. The Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe, says there are plans to enact laws to protect cocoa trees. Now, several acres of cocoa farms have come under attacks from activities of illegal miners, with some cocoa farmers also voluntarily selling the farms to the illegal miners. Speaking with Kemini Amano in a yet-to-be-aired interview on hot issues, the Cocoa Board CEO said existing laws on cocoa farms are weak and unable to protect farms from destruction.
The bigger problem is that we need to stop what will lead to the presence of these heavy metals in our cocoa. And incidentally, what I've found out, especially going around, is that almost everywhere there's cocoa, there's a mineral. Almost everywhere there's cocoa, there's a mineral. And cocoa is not protected.
Right.
The law that really protects cocoa as an economic tree are described as moribund. It's an AFRC Decree 47 enacted in 1979.
Do we need a new one?
We are doing a new one.
Okay.
We are done with the draft, and I think that we'll have a final presentation with the consultants, and I hope that maybe by July we'll be able to wrap it up with stakeholders and get ready to present it to Parliament maybe by August. So we're working on a completely new act as far as Cocoa Board is concerned, because the current act really is not fit for purpose in many aspects. So we're reviewing that and also making sure that it becomes very, very difficult for anybody to go out there and go and destroy a cocoa tree. I was at BBNE recently. A group of farmers, a cooperative, came and said that, look, our 3,000 hectares of cocoa stand the risk of being destroyed for the construction of a refinery for bauxite. 3,000 hectares of cocoa farmlands will give you a minimum of 3,000 tons. And it is because the laws that are supposed to protect the cocoa trees really are so, because everywhere there's a mineral, people are on their farms and people have prospecting licenses, and they come and they just want to cut down the trees and go ahead and prospect for cocoa. So as a country, we must take a decision. That's what a part of this law, the new one we are bringing, seeks to do.
Back to the issue of decongestion, the Lankwantana Madina Municipal Assembly has issued a 2-week ultimatum to traders to vacate the streets they have turned into trading hubs. The municipal chief executive has warned that failure to comply with the directive will lead to forceful eviction. Joseph Armstrong again has the rest of the story.
Police have made several arrests since the construction of footbridges on the Madina-Adenta road were opened for traffic use. Despite this, some pedestrians continue to ignore the footbridges, risking their lives and compelling police to crack down on jaywalking. Adding to the challenge is a growing number of traders and hawkers who have occupied key streets in the municipality, obstructing traffic and endangering pedestrians. In a renewed effort to decongest the area and enforce local laws, the municipal chief executive has issued a firm 2-week notice to traders to vacate the streets.
Our plan is, after engaging them, we'll give a time of maybe a space of 2 weeks to them to be able to clear in their wares that they've placed within the sections and the sides of the road. Other than that, we'll come in with a full force to clear and decongest the road.
However, some traders are pleading for more time, saying they need a suitable alternative location before vacating.
I don't have any place to sell, so this is what I do to manage, to take off I'm a single mom, so if I didn't work, how can I feed mine?
There are spaces at the various markets across Medina here. Why are you not going to get yourself a space?
I know that we have markets at Medina, but everywhere is choked.
They should give us 6 months to sell here so that we look for another place to go and sell. What I know that if we change every government, that person give us 6 months.
There are spaces in the market. Why are you not getting one for yourself?
Oh, that place there, people are not passing over there, apart from here.
You mean people don't pass through the market?
Yeah.
In 2022, the Lankwantana Medina Municipal Assembly, along with other metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies within the Greater Accra region, undertook decongestion exercises under the then regional minister's Make Accra Work campaign. They failed to sustain the exercise by enforcing their bylaws, allowing traders to return to the streets just weeks after being driven out. Joseph Armstrong, Good on TV3, Medina, Accra.
And now to another pressing concern tonight. Residents of Petoi in the Agwatimaziopa district of the Volta region, they are appealing to government to fast-track the connection of the town to the 5 district water projects to end the age-long water crisis in the area. The Petoi township has for several decades been battling with water crisis despite the steady increase in its population. More in this report by Faisal Abdul Idrisu.
Despite being the capital of the Agwatimaziopa district with a rapid increasing population, residents of Petoi continue to grapple with having access to a reliable, clean water supply. The only major source of water to residents over the years has been the untreated Toje River, which is used for all domestic chores and for consumption. We are suffering. I have not had water in my home in the last 6 months because all the pipes have broken down. Even the water from the river, we pay 5 cedis for 2 gallons, and then transportation cost is added. So we are pleading with the president to provide us with water because it gets worse in the dry season. Even the water from the river, take a look at it. It doesn't look nice at all. Our struggle with water supply has been long overdue. We rely on the Toje River for water supply, but it also dries up sometimes, making things worse for us. I catch water from the river to the various homes for a fee, but I would rather we have water from the Ghana Water Company flowing into our homes directly. A good number of boreholes constructed in the past as part of efforts to resolve the problem have all broken down. Despite this, the Keviano brothers, natives of the town, have funded the construction and mechanization of a new borehole to alleviate the situation, as calls intensify on government to complete the 5 district water project.
I can't really comprehend having a district capital like Petoi not having water. And it has always been a challenge to every household, to the extent that the only source of water over the period was polluted with some chemicals. And that's what prompted and necessitated this project, just to alleviate the suffering of the people and make sure that they get access to potable water. We want central government to come and then support Petue.
In 2014, the then NDC government initiated the 5-district water project to ensure adequate water supply to 215 communities in the Central Tong, North Tong, Adaklu, West, and the Agotimosiofi districts. As of July 2023, only 95 communities in the Central Tong and Adaklu districts have been connected to the pipelines, as many target communities continue to beg for water. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
And back here in Accra, teachers at the Agoto Crosby DA Basic School in the Shao Sudoku district of the region are grappling with dire living conditions, a situation residents say is affecting the quality of education in the area. With limited access to mobile network services, life has become increasingly difficult for teachers. My colleague Sarah Pencrow visited the community and reports that teachers are even forced to share their living quarters with reptiles.
Teaching and learning under conducive environment is proven to impact positively on academic performance. However, that is not the case at Agoto, a farming community few hours away from the regional capital, Accra. The school blocks 7 pupils of Agoto and 8 adjoining communities is in a deplorable state. Teaching and learning here is a battle, and the students look helpless. The teacher's bungalow is a makeshift mud structure. There are no toilet facilities and no access to water for basic needs. The teachers are not spared from reptile attacks. Irene Baidu is a pupils teacher posted to the community 3 years ago. She says she felt a deep sense of disappointment when she first arrived at the school.
When I got the post, I was so happy. But then the first time that I arrived here, I had some bad feelings. Like, I don't like the place. I didn't like the place at all. And in fact, I became so dull. There's no network to even call your family back home. So in fact, it hasn't been so easy. We have been coping, but then it's not easy. Even though this is part of Greater Accra. Sometimes scorpions, sometimes we see snakes, sometimes some of them find some in their rooms.
Monsieur Kingsford Musa, a French teacher, shares similar sentiments.
Actually, the first day I was posted here, when I came here submitting my documents, when I came to see the compound and then the environment, I didn't submit my documents on the first day. I had to return back to see if something can be done about it. But I just realized that I'm here to just impact knowledge, so I just came back with my documents. And we are just coping, managing life over here as it is. So it's not like it's something difficult, but what do? We have been posted here to teach, so we have to do our best.
His main concern is the lack of mobile network coverage, which makes it difficult to conduct research.
I just lie on it like this, and then if I want to make a call, I do this. And then always my phone is on loudspeaker to talk to people because of network issue. And then sometimes there are breakages and stuff in it. So this is my posture always.
Assembly member for the area appealed to authorities to intervene.
It is affecting the academic output because most of them, because of the nature of the accommodation over here, they can't stay here. Some they stay at Chupoli, which is very far to this place. And when it rains, the road to come here is very bad. So when it rains, they are absent from school. Most of the times, our people, they are not doing well in the BEC, and that is bringing the community down. With the network, that is the most challenging part of the community over here.
If Ghana is to achieve the UN SDG 4, which is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, efforts must be made to improve on education infrastructure at all levels.
It's been over 5 hours since I got into the Agoto community, and indeed, network is a major challenge. I have not been able to send message, receive message, or even make a phone call. Imagine being a teacher posted to a location at this. Sarah Apenkro, Agoto, Shai Osudoku, Greater Accra.
Well, there's another disturbing story. As the rainy season is set to begin, or is beginning in the northern part of the country, one critical issue is that, and it has lingered for many years, it is the incidence of communities being cut off due to deplorable nature of their roads. The roads, most of which are on contract, faces serious threats of closure if government fails to expedite action by paying the contractors. My colleague Christopher Marco, he followed a road assessment team from the Federal Roads Department and filed this report.
Ghana's vision for economic transformation depends heavily on quality road infrastructure. However, most roads in Ghana have not been in good state. Even though most of the deplorable roads have been awarded on contract, delays in paying road contractors is affecting progress of work. As the rainy season nears in northern parts of the country, there are growing concerns for government to pay road contractors to keep them on site to avoid situations where the road could be flooded and cut off. On a field assessment of a 13-kilometer Banvumbuja road in the Savannah region, the contractor Alhaji Samed Salifu expressed concerns over the delays in paying contractors.
And nothing has been paid to me to continue to do the job. Those people helping my bankers and my supporters, those people that supported me to do the job, they are giving me the funds. But now they are further giving me the funds. Even the bank further to give me any peso again. So that's why I'm pleading to the General Minister to plead the high authorities to come to my aid.
Savannah Regional Minister Salisu Biaworbi, while admitting the financial difficulties most road contractors go through due to payment delays, appealed to contractors to remain on site, especially during the rainy season.
And knowing the volume of water here and seeing the beautiful bridge which has been launched, I think that I would communicate with my colleagues at the top and will do everything possible to get the payments done. It's quite regrettable that upon the good work that he has done from 2013 to date, 3 certificates have been made, but none is paid. I can appreciate the challenge, and I can also appreciate the fact that contractors, per the award letters that they do, if they prepare a certificate for some number of days, if payment is not made, interest begin to pile up. That means that the accumulated interest on the 3 certificates which were prepared earlier is actually an addition to the cost to the people of Ghana.
According to the Minister for Roads and Highways, Governs Kwame Abuja, as of 2025, the government owed road contractors a staggering 25 billion Ghana cedis, with outstanding commitments totaling over 100 billion cedis. Several road construction projects faces severe setbacks, with some threatening to abandon site, as the Roads Ministry and the Ministry of Finance are yet to honor most certificates.
The continuous delay in completing this bridge is impeding on transportation in this part of the country. We are told that more than 3 people have lost their lives here in recent past, with the latest being last year. Christopher Marco, TV3 News, Jantong Dabwashie.
Let's now take you to the Upper West region, where the terrible state of road infrastructure in the Sisala West district, particularly the Wasai community, is gradually bringing socioeconomic activities and health to a standstill. Residents say portions of their roads make them vulnerable as pregnant women record preventable miscarriages and complications. Upper West Regional Correspondent Ibrahim Wangara visited the area and has more in this report.
Wasai, a predominantly farming community in the Sisala West district of the Upper West region, is faced with a myriad of challenges, one of which is the poor road network. The road connecting Hain to Wasai, Nieto, Du, all to the district capital Gulu and nearby communities has all deteriorated, endangering the lives of residents who rely on it for access to essential services, especially in the rainy season. The absence of alternative routes makes life uncomfortable. This has left residents with no option but to navigate the dusty road for access to healthcare and market trips. Some residents says the poor nature of the road impacts negatively on pregnant women.
There are difficulties in delivery and they have to refer them to hang or any health center. The road, the nature of the road is so bad that sometimes they either abort or they get complications when they get to the clinic.
People face a lot of challenges during their farming processes, starting from the beginning of the wet season up to the end of it. People have trouble traveling or transporting their goods to the farms, but the roads connecting them to the farms are very poor, and also even the roads connecting us to other communities are also very poor. They are in fact in a deplorable state.
If you're going to the hospital, there's no road to go there. If you're going to here, there's no road. If you're going to farm, the road too is no good. If you're going to Zini or Golu side, the road too is not good.
The chief of Wasai, Kworo Alhaji Abu Kuntulo Dimbon II, speaking through his spokesperson, emphasized the need to repair the roads to prevent further loss of lives.
The specific demand we are asking for is the fixing of the culvert at Johnson Road.
This is News 360 live from our studios here at the Subway Kanda in Accra. We have more stories for you, but after a break, please stay with us. They pose major challenges to the hospital. Irama Smith has more in this report.
Fian Regional Hospital, one of the country's oldest health facilities, was established in the 1930s as a military facility and later handed over to the community to serve as a healthcare center. Over the years, the hospital has undergone significant transformations, including the addition of new facilities and services. It has evolved into a secondary facility bordering on tertiary care and is currently the only referral center in the Western region, serving thousands. The hospital offers major specialized treatments, including surgeries, gynecology, among others. Recently, Fian Hospital has expanded its services to include high-end treatments like dialysis and diagnostic facilities. Despite undergoing significant transformations, the hospital faces numerous challenges. This is the neonatal intensive care unit, where newborns aged 0 to 28 days receive critical care. With around 100 admissions per month, the unit head highlights a pressing concern. Many parents cannot afford the costly care, especially for premature babies.
Most of the mothers find it difficult paying their oxygen bills because they are billed per hour or daily, which is huge for them to pay, especially the preterms who spend not less than 2 weeks and some even spending over a month before they are discharged.
The nurses are struggling with inadequate logistics, making their work challenging and stressful despite their best efforts.
Most of the time you have to improvise on a lot of machines so that you can work with the little you have. Currently we don't have any CPAP machine, and so the one we use, we improvise. And our warmers too have broken down. Most of the babies here, especially the preterm unit, will have to be in an incubator. That is one baby to an incubator, but because we do not have enough, and so instead of one baby to an incubator, we are pairing the children, and this makes prevention of infection very difficult.
We meet the medical superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Joseph Tambil, who cites outdated equipment in need of replacement and human resource constraints as key challenges.
A lot of our equipment are past their useful age, and so they need replacement. We do not have a full complement of the human resource, the skills that we need. As we speak, for a big hospital like this, we lack an orthopedic surgeon, we lack a neurosurgeon, we lack a neurologist, we lack dermatologists. And I'm not only talking about the doctors, even with the nurses, we also lack some of the specialist nurses that we need.
In 2023, the NPP government contracted to upgrade Fian Hospital to a tertiary facility. Dr. Joseph Tambil hopes the timely completion will ease the hospital's challenges and appeals to the current government to expedite the process.
We hope that this project, which was started about 2 years ago, can be completed because our hope, a lot of our planning, our hopes, everything is on that project. And that's the reason why we are not getting the new equipment that the hospital needs.
In a related development, Captain Depor Heavens has donated 40,000 cedis to support the hospital's purchase of an incubator to improve care for premature babies. Until the new project is completed, Fian Hospital will continue to face challenges in providing holistic health care to Western region and beyond. Irama Smith, TV3 News, Fian.
Abattoirs play a critical role in meat production, yet many operate under conditions that pose significant risks to workers, the public, and animals. Now, a recent study has uncovered 236 different bacteria species in some slaughterhouses in Accra, largely due to poor sanitary conditions and inadequate biosecurity measures. There's more in the following report.
From zoonotic disease transmission to environmental contamination, slaughterhouses can be breeding grounds for bacteria and pathogens with severe implications for public health. Concerns have also been raised about improper handling of equipment and unsupervised medical treatment of animals. Reports indicate that some individuals self-medicate livestock without proper diagnosis. Veterinarian Dr. Richard Kwamina Abiu emphasizes the need for increased awareness about safe animal handling, noting that 2/3 of human infections originate from animals. To minimize health risks, he advocates for mandatory medical assessments before slaughter, followed by post-mortem examinations to detect potential contagions.
Whether you eat meat or not might not be the point here, but to be, are those eating the meat or even handling the meat healthy enough? Because if they are not, then everybody gets in trouble or could get sick. It's not a thing that we can say only the slaughterhouse workers should handle it. All of us will be involved in proper ways to slaughter, that they could go to the abattoir or they could get a vet in there to examine just the right ways to do things instead of just taking it on themselves to slaughter and consume the meat.
Meanwhile, Alhaji Umoru Akadade, president of the Ghana Livestock Breeders and Traders Association, has criticized the government for failing to support livestock farmers in acquiring necessary resources. He also condemned the refusal of some slaughterhouses to adhere to hygiene protocols, calling for stricter enforcement to protect public health.
Some of them, the slaughterhouses have a problem, because even this, maybe the private one, have a lot of machines which are taking care of this kind of slaughtering. But the governmental one will have a question mark, because some of them will tell that, oh, this is government work. It's money that is being invested there. We have to take good care of it. The government should focus on the health sector towards the abattoirs. At times, if I go to some of the places, I'm very sad. In the livestock sector, we, the traders, we need money. But remember, the environment is very key for us, and the safe grounds for human beings to feel free. But if government is not, doesn't take care of their people, how do you want us to do?
Additionally, the general public has been urged to avoid slaughtering animals at home, as improper handling could pose serious health risks to those who come into contact with infected livestock. Adhering to these guidelines will help reduce pandemic threats and improve food safety and security.
Away from that, mental health is increasingly becoming a public concern, with about 13% of Ghanaians said to be living with one form of mental disorder. In response to this, Equilinks Counseling and Psychological Support Services dedicated to mental wellness has organized a free mental health screening in the Tema Metropolitan Assembly.
The month of May has been designated as Purple Month, dedicated to mental health awareness. Dozens gathered at the Tema Metropolitan Assembly to take part in a free mental health screening organized by Equilinks. The event, which forms part of the company's ongoing campaign to demystify mental health and increase access to services, comes at a critical time. According to a recent study conducted, among adults in Ghana, more than half, which is 51.8%, reported experiencing some form of mental health. Of that number, 53.3% struggle with anxiety, 25.2% with depression, and 9.7% with stress-related conditions. Most alarmingly, 8.3% of participants reported experiencing all three conditions simultaneously. CEO of Equilinks, Dr. May Kaleng-Wolf-Caesar, shared some importance of screening.
We're screening for depression, anxiety, and stress. These are the most common symptoms or signs that people go to seek help for. Psychological help, depression, anxiety, stress. And because these things are not things you can visibly, you can't see, you can't really tell unless you take a screening like this. You can tell if somebody's running a fever because the thermometer will say it. If you have high blood pressure, the machine will show it. But then if you have stress, how do you tell? So this screening here is supposed to help us assess our mental health in order to do something about it if it's not in a good place.
Tema Health Directorate Representative Pius Tay spoke on the importance of this partnership to the community.
We as stakeholders pull everybody together when we bring awareness to the issues of mental health. And so it's very important for us, and we are happy that we are able to come together and do something.
A participant in the screening and a trader, Gillian Annabelle, shared her experience.
I was so impressed about what I think the woman was telling me about, especially managing my stress. Because I was telling her about the nature of job I do. When she checked all the questions that I gave out, she realized that managing the stress was a little bit problem. So she advised me on what to do and what not to do. So in fact, I was impressed that she also contributed to me bringing down my stress.
As conversations around mental health continue to evolve in Ghana, efforts like these play a critical role in bridging the gap between awareness and access.
Let's now bring you some sports news.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bulletin. Let's start off from African football, where Egypt's Pyramids equalized 4 minutes into stoppage time to snatch a 1-1 draw at Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa in the first leg of the African Champions League final on Saturday, with their away goals. Premier League, where it enters its business end, and 4 teams still have the chance to hoist the coveted trophy, and one of those teams is Pando Heart of Lions, who will be looking to capitalize on any potential slip-ups from Kotoko, Bibiani Gold Stars or Nations FC. Here's a look at what lies ahead for the Pando Bait side.
The league title is reaching fever pitch with just 3 matches remaining. The top of the table is incredibly tight, with 4 teams including Nations FC, Bibiani Gold Stars, Hearts of Lions and Kumasi Asante Kotoko still in contention for the trophy. Every point is crucial as 3 points separate the top 4. One team has remained resilient in their quest to lift the trophy for the first time, and that team is Pando Heart of Lions. They are unbeaten in their last 5 games after winning 4 and drawing 1. With 3 games to go, CEO of the club, Dr. Randy Abe, is hopeful his side can lift the trophy.
I would want to win. I would want to win the league for the first time and also play in Africa. But for all the teams that are in the race, we have the most difficult because prior to the last game, for the 4 games that we had, 3 were away games and only 1 game at home. We went away and we drew, which meant that we dropped 2 points. And so I'm pushing the boys. I mean, I'm proud of what they have achieved so far. And if we win, it will be a major boost. But even if we do not, I think that they've done very well. For a team that almost got relegated last season, to be contenders for the season, I think is quite a heavy or huge improvement. And so I can only say that I'm happy with what they've done, and we can only encourage them to do much better in the coming season. So whichever way it ends, if we win the league, I'll be the happiest man on earth.
Coach Bashir Hayford, despite Lions being 3 points shy of the top, has not been emphatic on their edge to win the title for the first time. According to him, not having to battle relegation like last season is enough achievement.
We are still struggling to see whether we can win the league.
Okay.
Which wasn't our target anyway. But where we got to see that the boys themselves have been has inspired themselves, as motivated themselves that they can do it. So it is now pushing them intrinsically that they can win the league. So it is not over until it is over.
Nana Pong, who is the club's top scorer with 11 goals, has urged his teammates not to give up on their quest to win the league.
We can't say we can't fight for. We are still in contender with the league. So for the remaining matches, we are still fighting for it. Inshallah. If God willing, we can do something better. We can say it's somehow difficult. It's somehow difficult, but we can do it. We can do it.
Games will be honored at various centers for match day 32 of the Ghana Premier League.
Now let's take a look at the fixtures in match day 32 of the Ghana Premier League. Of course, the biggest one will be between Asante Kotoko and Bibiani Gold Stars. There's also Ediana versus Legon Cities, Bechem United versus Holy Stars, Dreams versus Bekum Chelsea, Nations versus Samatex, Vision versus Karela, and Young Apostles versus Heart of Lions. Now let's take a look at the fixtures in match day 32 of the Ghana Premier League. Of course, the biggest one. Now, still on the local scene, we could potentially see two teams from the Division 1 league qualify for the Ghana Premier League. Of course, there's Hohoi United and there's also Swedu All Blacks, who need favorable results to join Ghana's top division. Our Ghana Premier League analyst Mohamed Shaban breaks down these permutations.
In Zone 2, Swedu All Blacks are leading the league table and they have a total of 63 points. The second team, that is Rose Park, has got 59 points. And this weekend, that's 4 points separating the two sides. And this weekend, if Swedu All Blacks beat New DBRC United, then of course they've sealed qualification after 16 years. The last time they participated in the Premier League was way back in 2008-2009 season. And for the second team who is chasing them, they have 2 away games against Elmina Sharks, and that is one of the difficult games to play. And then they are playing their last game against King Faisal, and so clearly a tight fixture for them, and so it gives them the advantage. And Swedu Blacks have won all their home matches 14, and this would be their last home game. But then in Zone 3, Hohoi United need 1 victory to become champions of Zone 3, and so they are playing this weekend against Inter Allies, who are also battling relegation, and the points gap is huge. Here is 5 points difference and a total of 66 points and 61, that is Port City. So a win means that the last game for Hohoi United would not count, and as well as Port City's last game would also not have any impact on the results.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. There's entertainment and international news coming up next.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle, powered by 3 Entertainment.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. There's entertainment and international news.
In entertainment news this evening, all is set for the grand finale of the 2025 edition of award-winning kids reality show Talented Kids. 5 finalists will compete for the ultimate title and the bragging rights. Who will take the title and the bragging rights? The grand finale of this year's Talented Kids is scheduled for this Sunday, which is tomorrow, May 25, 2025, at the National Theatre in Accra at 3 p.m. prompt. Don't miss it. 5 finalists will compete for the ultimate title and the bragging rights. Who will take the title and the bragging rights? The grand finale of this year's Talented Kids is tomorrow. And now, Ghanaian actor and television personality Kwesi Boadi, popularly known as Acropetto, has opened up about how the ski accident he was involved in on the Accra-Kumasi Highway on Friday, May 23 occurred. The media personality described the accident as fatal and explained that his Toyota SUV was dragged for around 30 meters until it came to a stop after colliding with a huge heavy-duty truck. Despite the severity of the crash, Acropetto did not sustain any injury. He was taken to the Kumasi hospital where doctors evaluated him and declared him fit.
Let's now bring you some international news.
China's Premier Li Qiang says China and Indonesia will promote true multilateralism as he landed in Jakarta on a two-day visit to Southeast Asia's largest economy. China has intensified engagement with countries in the region since U.S. President Donald Trump announced hefty import tariffs on its global trading partners earlier this year. Some levies have since been delayed, while China and the U.S. agreed this month to pause some of their tariffs. At a business leaders event, Indonesia President Prabowo Subianto said relations between Beijing and Jakarta were key for regional stability. President Prabowo added that Indonesia views China as an important partner in developing industry and technology. President Donald Trump has ripped U.S. diversity and inclusion policies and took credit for building up the military on Saturday in a campaign-style commencement speech at the prestigious West Point Military Academy in New York. Trump, wearing a suit and his signature red "Making America Great Again" cap, mixed advice to work hard with a list of his top grievances about cultural and political issues. Since coming into office for the second time in January, Trump has rolled back diversity, equity and inclusion DEI programs in the military and throughout the government as part of a larger effort to rescind policies enacted by the predecessor Joe Biden. Finally, Russian aerial attacks on Ukraine have killed at least 13 people and injured 56 civilians across the country. Russia launched 250 drones and 14 ballistic missiles against Kiev alone, Ukraine's Air Force said, causing fires in residential buildings. At least 14 people were injured in the capital. It was one of the biggest combined aerial assaults on the city since the war began. The Ukrainian Air Force said it has donned 6 missiles and 245 drones. The overnight barrage came as Russia and Ukraine take part in prisoner swaps agreed after talks between the two sides in Turkey.
And this is how we wrap up on News 360. We came to you live from our studios here at the Sawe Kanda in Accra. But there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. I'm Noble Crosby Annan.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu. Enjoy the rest of our programs.